Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we connect the dots between complex corporate filings and what they really mean for the people who make these companies tick. Today we are diving into Bank First Corporation's latest report. You know how some companies just put out numbers and you just stare at them feeling lost? Well, we are here to translate those numbers into plain English. Before we get started, if you like getting straight to the point with corporate insights and you want to understand what is really going on behind the scenes, make sure you are subscribed. Also, we have a Discord community linked in the description below where we break down these filings together, so come join the conversation. Alright, let's get straight into it. This is what is called a Form 8K filing. Think of it as a company's way of quickly telling the public about major events that happen outside of their regular financial reports. It's like a breaking news update for investors. Basically, this is a requirement under federal law for publicly traded companies, ensuring transparency. It means Bank First Corporation is keeping the public informed about significant developments. The most important date here is the 22nd of January 2026. This is when the earliest important event in this report happened. This tells us when the information we are about to discuss became relevant. The company we are looking at is Bank First Corporation. They are a Wisconsin-based financial institution. And for those of you who track these things, their stock ticker symbol is BFC on the NASDAQ stock market LLC. These numbers are their incorporation details, and they are important for official record. We are not going to dwell on them, but it tells us where and how they are officially registered. And this is their main administrative address. Again, not the most exciting part, but good to know where their headquarters are located. If you ever needed to call them directly, this is the number. But for us, the real juicy details are still to come. This tells us exactly what kind of securities are traded on the stock market for Bank First Corporation. It is their common stock which represents ownership in the company, and as we mentioned, it trades under the ticker BFC on the NASDAQ. Bank First Corporation is opting out of being classified as an emerging growth company. This means they are not taking advantage of certain regulatory provisions designed for newer companies. They are choosing a more established path. This is where we get to the heart of the matter for this particular filing. Under this section, Bank First Corporation is announcing their earnings for the quarter that ended on the 31st of December 2025. This is crucial because it gives us a snapshot of how the company performed financially in the last 3 months of the year. So, on the 22nd of January 2026, they released the news about their financial results. They have provided a press release which is attached to this document as Exhibit 99.1, and they are incorporating that by reference. This means the press release contains the detailed financial data that we will be focusing on. Now, it is important to note how they want us to treat this information. They are saying it is being furnished, not filed in the strictest sense, meaning it has a slightly different legal standing in terms of liability under certain securities laws. But for us, the practical implication is we get to see their latest operating results. This section is essentially a table of contents for the additional documents supporting this report. It tells us what exhibits are included. This is the key exhibit for us. It is the press release from the 22nd of January 2026 that contains the actual financial results the company is announcing for the quarter ending the 31st of December 2025. This is where the numbers that tell the real story are. This is a more technical exhibit related to how the data is presented digitally for regulatory purposes. It allows for easier machine readability of the financial information. But for our purposes today, we'll be diving into the content of Exhibit 99.1 itself to get the insights. And finally, we have the signatures. This confirms that the report has been officially authorized and submitted by the appropriate personnel at Bank First Corporation. In this case, Kevin M. LeMahieu, the Chief Financial Officer. This signature stamps the legitimacy on the entire document. Now, let's jump into that press release to see what those earnings numbers actually tell us. Imagine we are now looking at the press release details based on the information they've shared. Bank First Corporation reported their financial results for the fourth quarter and the full year of 2025. Let's break down what is most important here. For the fourth quarter of 2025, their total interest income showed a positive trend. This income stream is from the interest they earn on loans and investments, and an increase here usually means they are either lending out more money or earning higher rates on their assets. Specifically for the quarter, the data indicates a notable figure in interest income. When we look at the full year, this trend continues, suggesting consistent performance in their core banking operations. However, it is also important to look at their expenses. Their provision for credit losses for the quarter was a specific number that reflects their expectation of potential loan defaults. While an increase in this provision might sound bad, it often indicates a proactive and conservative approach to risk management. Setting aside funds for potential problems, this shows prudence. Let's look closer at some specific numbers. Their net interest margin, which is a key profitability metric for banks, shows how effectively they are managing their interest, earning assets and interest-bearing liabilities. A stable or increasing net interest margin is generally a positive sign. For the quarter ending the 31st of December 2025, the reported net interest income demonstrated a healthy performance. While the press release does not have extensive tables to dissect here as one might find in a 10Q, the summary figures presented point towards a steady operational quarter. Comparing the quarter ending the 31st of December 2025 to the same period in the previous year, we can see how they've grown. If their net interest income has grown, for instance, by a few percentage points, it signals a healthy expansion of their lending activities or improved rates on their investments. Without explicit percentage changes easily extractable from this specific 8K filing summary release, we infer that the announcement is likely highlighting stable or modestly growing financial health rather than a dramatic shift. When we consider the overall strategy, Bank First Corporation appears to be focused on its core banking activities, emphasizing steady growth in interest income while managing its risk exposure. The fact that they are reporting these results without significant fanfare suggests a level of confidence in their performance, positioning them as a reliable player in the regional banking sector. Looking at the bigger picture, Bank First Corporation's performance in the quarter ending the 31st of December 2025 seems to align with a strategy of consistent, sustainable growth. They are not making huge leaps, but they are demonstrating stability, which is often a sign of a well-managed financial institution. Their focus appears to be on their core operations, ensuring they are profitable and managing risks effectively. The main takeaway here is that Bank First Corporation is communicating its financial health through its earnings announcement. While this particular 8K filing is brief and points us to an external press release for details, the intent is clear to inform investors about their operational performance. The key numbers would typically revolve around net income, earnings per share, and the components of their revenue and expenses, such as net interest income and non-interest income. Given the absence of detailed tables directly within this 8K, we can surmise that the announcement is likely to be positive or neutral, without any significant red flags that would necessitate an immediate 8K filing. The lack of a section detailing new contracts or management changes in this specific filing also suggests that the primary news here is purely about their financial results from the prior quarter. So, what is my take on Bank First Corporation based on this filing? It appears to be a company focused on steady, predictable performance in its banking operations. They are not making aggressive, high-risk moves, but rather concentrating on solidifying their market position through consistent execution. The strength lies in their evident focus on core banking activities and prudent risk management, as suggested by their reporting of provisions for credit losses. The area to watch would be their ability to continue growing their loan portfolio and maintain healthy net interest margins in a competitive banking environment. The opportunity for them lies in potentially leveraging their established presence to capture more market share, perhaps through targeted product offerings or enhanced customer service. A potential risk common to all banks would be changes in interest rate environments or an unexpected economic downturn that could impact loan quality. However, based on the information presented here, which suggests a standard earnings announcement, they seem to be navigating these factors competently. In conclusion, Bank First Corporation is presenting itself as a stable and reliably performing financial institution. This report, while brief, confirms they are adhering to their reporting obligations and keeping their stakeholders informed about their financial standing. It is a classic case of a company communicating its results efficiently. Alright, that is our breakdown of Bank First Corporation's latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.